Hey guys, I wanted to give you 5 quick and easy tips to help speed up your whittling and wood carving here. Obviously there's the basic ones we already know, like using a sharp knife and keeping it honed by honing it every 20 to 30 minutes. Those are basic, everyone knows those, but there's a couple other ones that some beginners may not know just yet. Tip number 1 is using thinner knives. A thinner knife will glide through the wood a lot easier. Like this Beavercraft knife is one of your more basic knives. You can tell it is very, very thick compared to this Helvey knife, which is a nice higher end knife. And you can tell that there's about a 2 to 3 times difference there in how thick the blade is. Now, even though this is a thicker knife, it still cuts through the wood pretty dang easily. It's not going to be a bad knife at all, but when you start getting into like cutting off more thicker wood, it becomes a little bit more difficult to do. But with a thinner knife, it just glides right through it. It can slide between the chips of wood that you're carving off there pretty easily, and it becomes a little bit easier just to remove lots of wood really quickly. And plus, when you start adding in the extra motion of slicing it, it helps speed it up a little bit faster too. So thinner knives and a slicing motion is going to help speed it up, because if you're just doing the push cuts, let's see if I can just do a pure push cut, you can tell it's a little bit harder for it to push through, but if I do like a slicing cut, it just really slices off the wood like butter. And then the next one is to primarily take advantage of the wood grain. Like the wood grain is going straight up and down in here, but there might be a time when we just want to remove a large section of wood. Now if we were to do that with our wood and going across the grain, it would be really hard to just remove lots of wood like you see there. But if we plan it so that we take off a larger section going along with the wood, we can use the wood to split off, or use the wood grain to split off a large section of wood and make it really easy just to rip off a ton of wood that we don't want. So that's a great way to do it. So planning ahead where you want to make your cuts and how to take advantage of the wood grain will help you in the long run, instead of having to cut across all the grain, which is a much harder process to do, versus cutting with the grain and taking advantage of the wood easily separating. That will help speed up your wood carving pretty dang quick. And then number 3 is to plan your wood carvings smartly. Now most beginners are going to start drawing their pictures on the front here. So it's like you have your head, your body, or whatever the heck you're drawing right there. You're probably going to put it on the face. But when you're starting to make something like this bird right here, you can tell that it wasn't really made straight up and down. I actually turned it sideways like this to take advantage of the corners here, which are much easier to carve away than the rest of the bodies. So just like, for example, if I was making this bird right here, I would just basically lop off the bottom so that I have the flat base that I made there. So I have the flat base, and then quickly make the tail. Tail is started, and then start with the wings and angle it back a little bit. You can see I'm taking off the corners, which is just much smaller bits of wood to take off, and then the back of the head to the tail. Again, see, I'm just taking off the corners. It's a much smaller piece of wood. I have most of the body shape. Now I can just start shaping the front to the head so that it becomes more bird shaped in the front. And also make sure to get the head here. And you can see that I'm starting to get my basic shape for the bird. It's pretty quick if you start planning the cut, not just along the flat face of the wood, but if you actually start looking at it from a different angle and seeing which way you can more efficiently carve the wood and remove smaller sections of wood that not only give you more wood to work with and create a bigger piece to carve, but also allow you to make more use of existing wood that you already have. So that's another quick and easy tip for you right there. Now number 4, a lot of us are going to be using carving or creative blocks. But if you really want to speed up your wood carving, sometimes you want to just go ahead and get like pre-cut blanks. They do save you time from having to do like the roughouts and the shapes. So you can find both roughouts and pre-cut blanks for different wood carving projects online. I see some wood carving shops have roughouts. A lot of places sell like the pre-cut blanks, so either in animal shapes, people shapes. I've seen some holiday ones for Christmas trees, Santa Claus stockings, whatever you want. There's a bunch of different shapes out there. This one just happens to be a spoon. That way I don't have to carve away all this extra wood right here. It's already done for me. That saves you a bunch of time if you want to do it that way as well. And not only that, for other pre-cut pieces of wood, you can get like egg shapes and you can just start carving something in there like they're hatching out. This way you don't have to create the egg shape itself. You can just buy that and then you start carving into it. Like this one, I'm starting to make a little dragon poking its head out, like it's hatching out of the egg. I think that's pretty cool. Now, number 5 is going to take you from the realm of just whittling to a little bit more into wood carving, because we're going to start talking about gouges, V-gouges, scoops, and whatnot. These are great for roughing out various different wood blocks because they allow you to get a different angle and a little bit more power into the carving, so you can really just get in there and just really make a large scoop of wood all the way out really fast. I use this one primarily for roughing out something. It's just so much easier. I can get more force behind the tool, and I'm usually pushing away from myself, so it's less likely I'm going to hurt myself. Still going to wear my gloves, obviously, but so great option to have. Same thing with the chisels and V-scorps. Chisels are great, just like the V-gouges, allow you to have more of a flat cut and put a little bit more power behind the wood, which is great if it's really tough. But the V-gouges are pretty dang cool too, because sometimes you might want to, let's use the little detail knife here. Sometimes you just might want to make a quick little decorative V-cut right there, little gouge. You can see I have to go in from both sides to create a nice little deep groove right there. But with the V-gouge, it's literally just done. It's one fluid motion and it looks cleaner. Matter of fact, I can probably clean this one up a little bit more with my V-gouge here. Very easy to do. V-gouges are great tools to have on hand. Alright, also in addition to having different gouges and chisels and whatnot, you can have different types of knives as well. Like these are my basic ones I usually use for carving. Obviously a longer one for removing larger sections of wood, but I like to have a smaller one on hand as well to help create smaller, more detailed cuts, because I have more control over them and I can carve faster with detailed cuts with my mini detail knife versus my larger knife. While I can do it with this one as well, I find it's more faster and efficient to use a smaller knife. And likewise, if you're going to be removing larger sections of wood, I personally like to have a sloyd knife. Notice that this is a much thicker knife when compared to that Helvey knife that we're going over before. Very large difference in size right there. But this is great for removing large chunks of wood. Much more durable knife, and it holds the edge pretty good because it's a thicker knife. Not only that, you can get quick little kits, like this is one from Flex Cut. It comes with little palm tools for a V-gouge, just a scoop. You get a detail knife and a basic carving knife as well. So you get different options along with them as well. So having small little wood carving kits does help you carve more efficiently and gives you more options to safely cut something. Now, I said I was going to do 5, but I have a bonus one for you too, and this is just more for encouragement for you beginners, and that is just to keep practicing. The more you make the same cuts over and over again, the more you're going to master those basics, and you'll be finding that a lot of those cuts that you're going to be making are basically the foundations for what you're going to be using to carve these different pieces of wood here into various shapes. Yeah, just keep practicing, guys. I know you all got this. Once you get going, you'll be carving really cool things in no time. Just keep going. Everyone starts somewhere. Thanks for watching, everybody, and hope you have yourself a great day.